Ian Fleming, who was a member of MI6, OSS before that, who founded our CIA, his second book was Moonraker, written back in the 50s, and then it was turned into a movie in the 70s with Roger Moore, where an evil mastermind over an international banking cartel wants to release a biological weapon to kill all humans on Earth, but then it phases out in a year. They're going to live on a space station while we all die. Well, again, they throw it in our face in popular culture, like before 9/11, Fox Television, and I even had one of the stars of the show, the X-Files lone gunman, Dean Haglund, called me and say, I want to come meet with you. And this guy was scared. We interviewed him at my house. That video's up on PrisonPlanet.tv. And he said, listen, the CIA came and planted these plots on us. 6 months before 9/11, the secret group in the government, above the government, hijacks a jet by remote control, uses an anti-terror drill to make NORAD stand down, telling him it's a drill, to fly a jet, a large passenger jet in the World Trade Center as a pretext to attack Afghanistan. Now, of course, Tom Clancy also wrote a book about something similar. They do this predictive programming to mix reality with unreality to prepare the subconscious mind. Now, that said, going back to Moonraker, with the elites planning to kill us, they could use biological, they could use chemical. They're using soft kill on us right now with the chemtrails and the fluoride and the mercury. We had Dr. Blaylock, the top brain surgeon, on breaking all this down last Friday. One of their plans, and this is even alluded to in the British Ministry of Defense report for the 10-year trend, what they believe will happen, they said governments will use neutron weapons to control their populations. Because if we were to try to rebel, the military would try to rebel and take over Washington and restore the Constitution, the Black Op government will use neutron bombs to kill them. That is stated. Now, they can't stop us taking over all the other cities peacefully and politically saying no and pointing out that we know you're planning to use neutron weapons. Then they really can't do it because politically it would expose them. But that's the level of total full-spectrum dominance is the term they're using. And everybody in Northcom needs to know you're working for people at the highest levels above you who are planning this. Steve Quayle comments.
Absolutely. And the situation that's gone on, if it hadn't been for some pretty amazing people in your area, that, as you know, Austin just, the central hub for a lot of special operations and everything, if it hadn't been for some of the bravest men and women, Alex, we'd already been there. Let me talk about the dissemination of neutron weapons. It is a neutron weapon kills by an intense radiation burst. It does not have the standard thermal signature. It doesn't have the fallout, which is debris that's basically blown up into the upper atmosphere that becomes radioactive and falls out. And, you can take a baseball size, actually a softball sized weapon device and kill everything within 1 square mile. And the thing that I don't think people recognize now, supposedly George Bush, the father, took our neutron weapons out of our arsenal. I don't believe that for a minute. And given the fact that we've got the situation now going where this stuff is in the hands of terrorists, and everything else is basically, when I say terrorists, I'm talking about the Illuminati, okay? I want to make that clear.
Yeah, like, it's literally chaos. I mean, it's
right,
literally...
it is chaos. But let me tell you what this guy said, because, again, when I get someone that I run into, I basically tried to be a watchman. I tried to warn.
It's Spectre. Go ahead.
Yes. The bottom line is the gentleman I had the meeting with, is really worried about a severe biological attack that's going to be launched upon the United States by...
And they just announced confirmed bird flu deaths in China.
Yep. Now, let me share this with you. I got a call from a homicide detective in the central U.S., okay? He said that one of his lead detectives, homicide detective, is in the National Guard. He was at a meeting, and a general was brought in from Washington to discuss what's getting ready to happen. And he talked about the biological event. By the way, this man's police department was all given the biogear and everything, but it was in the heartland, okay? And his exact words, I can't say it on the radio, but he said if the American people understood all the deadly fecal contaminant we're going to throw at them, they'd absolutely die on their feet. So this is kind of weird, okay? And he, obviously a lot of people are used to such brash talk. Here's what I'm saying, Alex. There's no more time left for people just to be spectators, just to basically get on board and say, well, what did Alex say? What did Steve say? They've got to get involved. They've got to buy the tapes. And when I say this, your tapes have gone round the world, okay? And the thing that people don't understand is if we do on a shoestring budget what these guys do with $9 trillion, by the way, all that money that was put into the banking system, I know one of the largest gold traders in the world. He sells in metric tons and hundreds of metric tons. He told me all that money is being filtered out of the banks through the Orient into gold. And I can tell you this, based on his receipts and my verification of what he's done, he has told me so. By the way, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, here's something no one knows. Has been turned into the International Monetary Authority. So when all the paper currencies crash, these guys are all saying, well, look, we got all the gold. We're going to issue a currency that's gold-based. This goes beyond the Amero. This goes beyond the Euro. But before that, total chaos. You and I have talked about it, screamed about it, you've filmed about it, I've written about it. But the point is they want total chaos, and out of that chaos will arise the Phoenix or the New World Order. But in the meantime, when I get people from all branches of the military, when I get people from all branches of government when I get people, former secretaries of state, assistant secretaries of state, all these different people telling me the same stuff and coming so fast and furious that some of them, by the way, have left the country. The point is that there's so little time for people to just say, well, I need more evidence. I need more evidence. Good night. What you need is cojones, and you'd better decide that you've got to use the evidence. And Alex, it's like everybody's got a set of scales before their eyes. In one end is all the information you and I and others give them, and then there's this doubt.
Yeah, instead of looking at the mountains of confirmed, in-your-face, admitted that they're getting ready for martial law and mass arrest in FEMA camps in major papers, they come and attack us and say we're full of baloney. That's COINTELPRO, that's operatives, but it's also weak-minded people who've been conditioned by the lies and system. Folks, it's all happening. Bloomberg is reporting that a Fed governor, by name, is saying even local Fed branches have been told, you are under war powers, you can't ask questions, Congress can't ask questions, and Congress has been told they're under war powers. And PDD 51 and the John Warner Defense Authorization Act states the states, the Congress, the judicial has no power. It's, of course, criminal to do this. It's illegitimate, but they're doing it. That it's all under the executive, and the executive, whether it's George Bush or Barack H. Obama, is controlled by the internationalists, openly by the world banks. They are taking us down. This is a corporate receivership. Now, you talk about people in the system stopping it, and I know that people with leaks and info and things that are just amazing that people have gone through to stop this and to back it off and to warn people. That's why 20, 30 years ago, everything that's now declassified, the old-timers who are always colonels or generals retired would say, we funded Mao, we put Mao in. Now it's on History Channel, they admit it. You know, there's a plan to put you in FEMA camp, there's a plan to exterminate you. Now it's declassified. They were there, they were briefed. That's why they warned us. That's why the right-wing patriot militia people, formed, because we had good patriots in government that did warn us. Are there ways to stop this, or is this going to happen?
It's going to happen, but the way it's going to happen, first of all, it's going to happen at such an accelerated pace. You asked me if it's going to be financial, it's going to be Russia, China, all of the above. Right now, obviously, you know that Goodnight Lebanon rockets have been fired into northern Israel from Lebanon.
And Israel's been responding and saying they may invade, yeah.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, this is all scripted. This is something I don't think, Alex, you refer to Tom Clancy. I remember going public with all of the science fiction producers in Hollywood that had been contacted by the CIA. That's why you have Steven Spielberg having the largest collection, and I'm not going to go there, but alien artifacts. You've got the former Star Trek head, Gene Roddenberry, being basically the guy that was so tied in. And I had one of the CIA's top agents, double agents, tell me.
Well, I mean, he was the heir apparent to Aleister Crowley and ran the OTO.
You got it.
And then the head of the jet propulsion system, yeah.
Yeah, but when you and I talk about that stuff, see, what we've got to get now is we've got to get people to absolutely, can I tell you something? You've given bits and pieces. You've given the borders. I sometimes it takes an obscure piece. All the pieces fit now, Alex, and it's their timing. This biological event, that's the thing that they're going to do. Because let me share this with you. On their level of terror, they have it all so psychologically computerized. They know that a bio event carries 10 times the weight of a nuclear event.
War games. It makes everybody isolate, makes everybody freeze.
Right. Panic and terror, and they put them right in their spot. By the way, when I asked the question I did not get answered is on the black box jammers. Will they shut down all newer vehicles, too? As you know, the police have different electromagnetic type things that they can shut the ignitions down on newer cars. I do not know that these black box jammers that are the broad spectrum jammers will do that, but I know they also have those. So the critical thing that everyone needs to know is, look, how many times we told them, everybody, our listeners, mutual listeners, the interviews we've done. You
didn't just say, I remember you 10 years ago, you didn't just say we'd have an economic collapse. You said it would be triggered by the derivatives, by design, and that's what happened.
Absolutely. And, I'm sure you get tired of the same old critics. I'm going to tell you, people that are on boards, that are on blogs, the people that rise up when they're attacking the messenger, I ask them, I say, well, what's your pay grade? And they say, well, what do you mean what's your pay grade? I said, you obviously work for them. And I can tell you this, the thing that most people want to be able to do, most normal human beings want to be able to provide for their family security, safety. I know you're tired of the blood.
Yeah, the people that are serving the New World Order are destroying their own future. They're burning their own house down. And I don't think they understand just how horrific the final end game is. They have no idea.
Let me tell you this. I'm going to say this. And so all of the billionaires that you're seeing getting whacked, okay, it doesn't matter if it's Merkel in Germany, these guys are not committing suicide.
That's right. I've got a stack of billionaires being killed.
Right. And here's what the word came to me from Beijing, okay? The Beijing said that trillionaires are wiping out the billionaires. And the guy said to me, he said, guess who the trillionaires are, Steve? I said, easy. It's the puppet masters. They don't want any ability to contest them. They let them get built up only long enough to destroy them and take them down.
Yeah, they killed one of the richest guys in Germany. That's actually in my stack. We'll mention that when we get back with Steve Quayle, final segment. Steve, I got to have you back up in the near future. We're heading into the quickening right now. SteveQuayle.com. Stay with us.